Hi everyone, hope you're doing well. Depending on where you are, whether you are in India, then it's a good evening for you. If you are in the US, and it's a good morning for you. But depending on where you are, it could be a good morning, afternoon, or evening. Today is the World Storytelling Day, and I am here to tell you a story that I picked out just for this day. Well, this story relates to a very famous battle in India. It's called as the Battle of Panipat. It's actually looked at from a very grim perspective, mainly because of the kind of results that it created. But a lot of times, it's not just a matter of winning or losing. A lot of time, it's only about what do you do in that battle. Because as Batman has said, it's not who I am underneath, but it's what I do that defines me. Well, I hope I was able to impersonate that Batman well. Let's get into the story. So the story is about 70,000 Maharashtra forces who were now in Delhi. And this force of 70,000 soldiers was not alone. They also had their families and their relatives and their kettles, their horses, and all of these things together. So approximately 50,000 people more along with the 70,000 already. As they had gone to Delhi, they knew about a palace or a fort called as Kanjapura. So they went in, and that force was able to capture the fort of Kanjapura really quickly. Now, once they had done that, they thought that now we'll go to Delhi and then we'll go back. But something else happened. What happened was Muhammad Shah Abdali. He was somebody who had just came into India, and he was also known to be a ruthless leader of mercenary forces, and his forces were at least twice the size of the Maratha forces. And they were at an impasse because when the Maratha forces reached Delhi and they wanted to go back to Maharashtra, there they were facing Abdali here. And Abdali wanted to go back to Kabul, and there he was looking at the Maratha forces. So now they're looking at each other, and the battle is about to start. Now, in this battle, what's really, really important is that was not alone. Abdali actually had some help. The kind of help he had is he had an entire army of Pathans on one side. He had another army of Rohillas on another side. And there was a third army. And beyond that third army, there was also the army of Abdali himself. And with these four armies, he actually created a crescent moon. And that crescent moon was now hovering over the Maratha army. Now, in this situation, Bhausaheb Peshwa, who was the leader of the Maratha camp, the current Peshwa, he called in for a meeting. He called in for his royal darbar. And as everyone came in here, he was expressing his helplessness. And he was telling them, we have been surrounded by all these enemies. But the thing that hurts me the most is that the average age of our commanders is so low that and we have so many young commanders and young blood that I'm not very confident if we can actually win this battle or win this entire war with our current forces. Now, among all those commanders, there was one person whose name was Jankoji Shinde. I'll repeat, Jankoji Shinde. His ego was set on fire the moment the Peshwa leader said that the age that you have matters to the amount of leadership qualities and the kind of fighting that you can do. So Jankoji Shinde came forward and said, I'm going to prove you wrong. Immediately he walked out of the camp, he picked up his entire forces that were with him, and he attacked the Rohile camp. And as he was leaving from the tent, Peshwa sensed that, oh, this can be a risky point here. It could be a risk here. So immediately he called somebody called as Balwant Mehendale. Now, Balwant Mehendale was a hulk of a man with a mind as sharp as a razor. You can call him the Jack Reacher of those times. And he said, Balwant, you go after our dear friend and make sure that you cover him, and in case he's in danger, you are his backup. Now, one thing that I would like to share with you, that Jankoji Shinde and Balwant were not very good with each other. They did not have a good relationship. And in fact, in that entire battle of Panipat, if there is one thing that is remembered over and over again, were the internal conflicts within our forces, which really helped it actually helped the enemy to win the battle and to win the war. So at this time, as Balwant went after Jankoji, do you know what they did? Balwant and his forces remained some distance afar, and they were looking at Jankoji Shinde fighting with the Rohillas, getting beaten up, but they did not do anything. Mr. Balwant and his entire force was just standing and looking. Now, while Jankoji was fighting and he saw that their friends are standing there but not helping them put their blood on fire, they fought even more ferociously, and not just fought, they won that battle. And after winning the battle, Jankoji Shinde came back to the Peshwa, and as he came back, again he was standing in a royal darbar, and Peshwa was giving him a standing ovation, saying, "What an amazing thing you have just done here." At that time, Jankoji's face was as still as a stone, and he said, "That's all right, but just tell me one thing. Why did you send Balwant after me to back me up?" Do you know what he did? He did nothing. He was just standing there doing nothing. Now, at this point, I would really like to kind of let you know about the leadership styles that different people have. An emotional leader would have immediately scolded Balwantarao in front of everyone, and even saying a lot of harsh words as well. But Peshwa was deeply hurt by this, and what he said is, "Balwantarao, हे चांगलं नाही झालं." This was not this was not good. With that, he stopped the darbar right there, and everyone went back. They did not go and start discussing among themselves or start spreading rumors about it. The sabha just ended right there. Now, you know, even if this has happened today, I'm sure somebody would have made a tweet about it, somebody would have posted on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, somewhere. And that tendency was still there, even though the platforms were not. So one person quickly went and told the wife of Balwantrao, Mehendale, that, hey, you know what? Your husband, he was scolded in front of everyone today, and he did not do anything. Now, as Balwantrao Mehendale went back to his camp, what he saw was his wife wearing a very nice red sari and having a lamp in her hand to do an arti of him, to welcome him in a grand way. And she said, "Oh, my dear husband, what amazing you are looking today. You're looking so handsome. Look at your white clothes. Look at that sword of yours. It's still inside the sheath. Look at that perfume of yours. It's just mesmerizing. But what's missing here is, I heard that Peshwa had sent you for a battle, and here you are coming back with not a drop of blood on your clothes, not yours or the enemy's. Here you are, your sword still inside the sheath, still shining and glistening. And here you are, smelling of your royal perfumes instead of a sweat during the battle. So don't come back in my tent until you start to get our glory back. Because tomorrow, when we wake up, our son will be called as the traitor's son. I will be called as the wife of someone who is afraid in the battle, and you will be disgraced for the rest of your life. With those words being poured like hot lava in his ears, they went straight to his heart. And Balwantrao Mehendale was on fire. He went back, he led his army, and as they were charging at the Abdali army this time, he was thinking and he was asking, how many people did the Shindes kill? Someone said, Sir, 8,000. We are going to kill 10,000 people today itself. And with that, he was having two swords in his hand and he was just going right and left inside that entire camp, and he was killing the Pathans left, right, and center. He was like a hot knife in butter. And because Peshwa also had respect about him, Peshwa himself was following him on his horse, trying to back him up. So when Mr. Balwant Mehendale was in the middle of the battle and he heard that Peshwa himself is coming to defend him, he turned back. And as he turned back, the Pathans took this opportunity and shot at least 10 bullets in his chest. And Balwantrao Mehendale fell down that day. The next day, when the news reached his wife said, I'm going to go sati with my husband. I'm also going to give away my life. But she had one request for Mr. Peshwa. And she says, as a leader, I need you to tell the story of his father to my son. I need you to tell him about the mistakes that we made. I need you, Peshwa, to tell him about the bravery of his father, how he single handedly fought with 10,000 Pathans and even killed them. And that he did. Now, in that exact battle, Peshwa did suffer a lot of defeat. But you know what? 15 years later, or 15 to 20 years later, the Maratha Empire rose again. And that same boy of Balwantrao Mehendale now grew up. His name was Appa. Appa also came back to Panipat's battlefield and he fought with the Afghans, with the Pathans again. He killed 10,000 people in one day with his army, and on that day he paid respects to his mother and his father on the same land of Panipat. And he was so ferocious and he was so glorious that day that Peshwa gave him, the current Peshwa at that time, gave him an honorary spot of a palace just beside Shaniwarwada. And that palace on that entire place is called as Appa Balwant Chowk, ABC. Now, why is ABC so important for me? Is because Appa Balwant Chowk is a super famous place in Pune. This is where you buy all your books. This is like the home of all the books. And while doing a research about today and to share this story with you, I came to know this is the meaning of Appa Balwant Chowk, the great man who won the glory back for his family. So I hope you liked this story, and I hope you will tell this story to your kids, your friends, your colleagues, because today is World Storytelling Day, and stories is what we share from generation to generation. Stories is what inspired Appa Balwant, because those stories he heard from the Peshwa himself. I hope you liked the story. How did you feel about it? Put that in the chat box. I'm really looking forward to it. Thank you. Bye bye.